Stephen King saw the film here in Cannes, which we are now, by the way. And Stephen King thought it was extremely scary.
It went down a storm, and I think Palace had to be very aggressive in their bidding to pick the movie up. And what really helped it more than anything else was somebody as famous as Stephen King, and somebody as well respected as Stephen King, calling it the most ferocious and original horror movie. He was so enthused about it, and he went into, his quote appeared across all manner of publications, and that really, probably more than any other single thing, helped bring The Evil Dead to the notice of the general public.
I think the reason why the film did particularly well in England is mainly because of the artwork of Graham Humphreys, who was hired literally on spec. Palace Pictures had never used him before. He'd sent them photographs of his work. They loved it. They really took a risk on him, and I thought that campaign actually made the film.
I'm Christopher Fowler. I'm a novelist and co-founder of a company called The Creative Partnership. I worked on the marketing for Evil Dead 1 and 2.
My name's Graham Humphreys. I'm an illustrator and freelance designer, and worked on Evil Dead with Chris. I was 20 years old when I first got involved with the Evil Dead, and it was probably the first major job that I had, the most exciting anyway at that time, and just the first entry into the world of film, and what an entry. I actually took my folio along to show Steve Woolley and people at Palace Pictures, not knowing they had that film at that point, just looking for any work, essentially, probably video cover work, because they had their video division at that point. And he wasn't actually there, but I left the folio, and there are just a couple of pieces in there which he particularly liked, which obviously were of the horror genre, and really that's how he got in touch. Steve Woolley gave me a call, asked me to come in and have a look at a film, which was screening then at the Scala Cinema up at King's Cross. It was in the middle of the day, and it was a new print, hadn't been cut at that point, and there was one other person watching the film with me in the cinema, and they left after about a quarter of an hour. I think to be sick, probably.
It came at the end of the slasher cycle, and it was like the last film at the end of a long sort of period of horror films. But it was so totally different to all the other ones, and it was fantastically gory. I suppose it was kind of like the gory Blair Witch Project of its time. People were still using artwork a lot more then. They weren't using so many photographic images. So we tended to start a lot more with concepts at that point. But Nick was prepared to... He's got this kind of, screw 'em if they can't take a joke attitude, and he was prepared to do anything really on it. And I don't think at that point any of us really... We thought it was really gory and really funny and great, but we never thought it would get, banned and get into the problems that it subsequently got into. And I don't think Nick did either. I mean, we were doing, a horror film for Palace.
It was the first simultaneous film and video release. So having done the artwork for the poster, then it was straight onto the artwork for the video cover, which I had about a day to do, so that was a bit frightening, because obviously the format of a quad poster isn't quite the format of a video cover, so it had to be cobbled together very swiftly. I mean, the whole feel of the poster and the campaign was very sort of punk anyway, though, and, fun as well at the same time. It was very grungy looking as well, and it just got away from the whole American gloss thing. It was just actually a really nice way of presenting a film, just trying to be a bit more honest about it. I mean, the film's very rough around the edges, and it is quite, sort of quite a grungy piece of filmmaking, and I think that, to have represented it in any other way would have been dishonest, really. One of the things that did influence me quite a lot was some of the appalling printing quality of some of those posters. I mean, missed registration, and one of the things I always did with colour was try to use colours which, even if they were printed badly, would somehow still kind of work. And I actually had insisted that they actually went to a bad printer. In fact, they didn't. They actually went with their regular printer. But I kind of loved the idea of it being on a really matte, crap paper where the ink would soak in and probably be misregistered. And it would actually have that feel of a really old poster. I mean, one of the things I did do was obviously texture it quite a lot, and that was a way of making it look older and scruffier anyway, though. I mean, to me, it was quite important that it looked, quite distressed. Much like the audience, in fact.
So I remember when they came back for Evil Dead 2,
Groovy.
they said, we've got more of the same. And I remember the copy platform. He said, Nick Powell said, we want copy on the poster, and it's got to be funny and scary and no more than 4 words. So I said, kiss your nerves goodbye. And they went, yeah, all right. So it was another job solved really quickly.
My original idea was to play on a Dead by Dawn theme. What I wanted to do is use the clock as just an image, a simple clock, but I mean along the lines of the clock that you would see, for instance, in the Herzog film Nosferatu, which had the skull on the top. And also quite like the idea of it being quite Scooby-Doo as well, so a really creepy clock with a pendulum, which actually would be a pendulum swinging, and the swing of the pendulum would actually follow the title, Dead by Dawn. And then just splattering the whole thing with green and red gore. It would have been lovely.
That would have been, wouldn't it?
Yes, I'd like to have built it. That would have been the best thing, to have built the clock and then just shot it. We went with a traditional, old-fashioned, bring in all the characters, and then...
But he pulled out the best image of the film, which is the zombie in the trapdoor.
It's a reworking of the original poster, much as the film is a reworking of the original film.
Dead by dawn. Dead by dawn. Dead by dawn.
But at that time, it was amazing that you would do a 30-second national TV campaign for a film like Evil Dead. So they came to us and they said, well, Sam Raimi's going to be in town and he'll help. Yeah, and Jonathan Ross really likes it, so he'll help. Of course, nobody, I don't think, ever got paid for it. I don't know. No. But so we went to an old cinema on Wardour Street, and I wrote the script about Sam and Jonathan Ross talking about the Evil Dead.
Oh, I don't believe this.
And I thought it'd be great if then we could have demons. And Palace just said fine with the script, and they gave us a very small amount of money, and everybody did it for nothing. And so we dummied up a seat with fake demon art, well, people dressed as demons, and we split the seats up. And then we sat down, Sam and Jonathan said, what's so scary about this film? And he just did, it was like a little mini interview. And at the end, the demons burst through the seat and they attacked. It was like one take, took 20 minutes, and we were out of there.
Hi, I'm Sam Raimi, the director of The Evil Dead. I've invited Jonathan Ross to see my new movie, Evil Dead 2. Oh, I don't believe this. Say, you think this will scare the audience as much as the first one?
Yeah, that's a safe bet, Sam. It's got a lot more surprises.
Oh, yeah, it's got a lot in it to grab the audience.
There's only one movie scarier than The Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2. Kiss your nerves goodbye.
They were big kids having a really good laugh, because I don't know whether they've ever been to London before. And they were on some, it being Palace, they were on a micro budget, so they were probably sleeping on Nick Powell's floor or something, weren't they, probably? But everything was just fun and fresh, and they were just staggered that the UK would take the film so seriously, I think, because they were just really thrilled that everyone was getting behind it and everybody really liked it. I think that they met with a very different experience in the US.
At last, a movie that really grabs the audience.
I don't believe this.
Evil Dead 2, Kiss Your Nerves Goodbye.
Well, we still love the films, and we still love Sam Raimi, so what's not to be proud of?